different from me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas trying to take my life away.
To the False Nine podcast. My name's Steve, and I've got Charlie, Luke, and Connor as per here with me. We're going to do the Premier League preview for this weekend. Thank fuck the international break's over. So we're going to start with the Tottenham City game. That's at 5:30 on Saturday. I mean, you could this is a chance for Tottenham to prove that they are title contenders. I think City, people are kind of expecting them to to kick back into form, but they're not really performing at their best still. I just want to ask Charlie, if Tottenham can, do you think Tottenham need to get something from this to prove that they're title challengers, or do you just think they are title challengers anyway?
I think they definitely need to start picking up points, more points than last season against the top six sides, because last season it wasn't one of their strong points. I think with Mourinho in there now, I think they can definitely do it. If Mourinho wasn't their manager, I don't think anyone would be actually giving them shouts for the title. But now that Mourinho's there, I think they can definitely make a push, but I don't think they'll get there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly depends how the likes of Liverpool and City perform with all these injuries. If they can manage to still kick on and be at top of the table, I don't think Tottenham will win it. But you never know with this league, the way it's going. It's definitely unpredictable as it stands. I think. Look, we all praise Mourinho on the show because he does get a bad rap, but we do actually think he's a good manager. I mean, if he can win the Premier League with Tottenham, if he can win the Premier League with Tottenham, I know he doesn't have a huge rivalry with Pep, but he could. Does that elevate him above Pep, Luke? If he can win a Premier League with Tottenham, or do you think he's already above Pep?
I'd probably say that Pep is slightly above him at the moment, but if he won the Premier League with Tottenham, I definitely think he'd go above Pep.
Yeah, I mean I just remember there that it was Pepe Guardiola, Pepe Jose. I literally just remembered there. I was like, oh shit. For City, Connor, is it a chance for them now with Liverpool? City have had the same amount of injuries, but they haven't had key injuries for long periods like we do. Do you think now it's a chance for City just to kind of kick on and not run away with it? I'd say I don't think they will. I don't think they're as good as they used to be. But do you think this is their chance now to take back their title?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, they do have a massive opportunity given the amount of injuries Liverpool have, and also, I mean, if you look at it, they Man City and Tottenham, they're both they'll be going into this game thinking they can only get better, if you get me. They're Man City, obviously they played well against Liverpool towards the end, the second half of the game.
Yeah.
And then obviously Tottenham with Mourinho, Mourinho can just get results out of anywhere, can't he? Especially with Spurs in good form. But yeah. I'd say these two teams are genuine title contenders. So both managers will be looking at this game. If Tottenham were to go and win, that would put down a massive statement for everyone in the league. Yeah. And obviously the same with Man City if they get a win as well. Obviously you'd look at it and on paper you'd probably say Man City are favourites, but with Jose, you just never know what he's going to do.
Yeah, yeah. I think for Tottenham now, people have kind of been reluctant to include them in the title race, but they are now. They have to be. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 teams in it technically. I think with Tottenham, obviously Kane. I think if they lost Kane to an injury, it'd be done. I think he is a bigger loss than Van Dijk is to Liverpool, in my opinion. I don't think they have anyone who can even attempt to replace him, like we were for Van Dijk. I mean, Kane's probably the best player in the league as it stands, this season anyway. Charlie, what do you think is going to be the key battles in this game? Where do you see the game being won or lost?
I think we've said it a lot. I think City's left back is definitely a weakness. I'm not sure who's actually who's gonna monster really. I'd say probably Cancelo will stay there, but if Bale or Lucas or even Lamella, I'm not sure who's gonna play, can have a half decent game, I'd say Tottenham would have a decent attacking shout. But also, I think Tottenham are gonna regret not sealing that Skriniar deal because their defense it's extremely dodgy. I think City's attack will definitely be fancying themselves. I know Ferran Torres scored a hat trick there recently. Jesus is back. Sterling is obviously, I'm not sure if he's world class, but he's definitely a great player. And yeah, I think if Tottenham don't make a push, I'd say it will be because of their defense. Because let's be honest, Eric Dyer is dire, and Davinson Sanchez is just a bit of a loose cannon. Obviously, Alderweireld he's decent, but he's nowhere near what he was. So, and they signed that Joe Roden guy, but I think they needed Skriniar to actually have a serious title show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game because I would fancy Tottenham more now than I would if I saw this to start of the season, given how both teams have performed so far. I think City are probably the team that everyone's looking at like to capitalise on Liverpool's injuries. If they do win this weekend, I definitely would be a little bit fearful that they can kick on. I know one game doesn't define the season, but I think if they can beat a big team like Tottenham or I suppose title challenger, I'll be a bit more worried. Luke, for you, like obviously there's been City players performing on international duty. Like, where do you think Pep? Where do you think Pep needs to not improve the squad, but like improve himself, his own like kind of the way he's picking the team, the formation he's putting out, and how important is it for him to get it right this game?
I think he needs to stop. He seems to just be overthinking a lot of things, definitely in the Champions League recently, and like in a few big games. I think he just needs to stick to what he does best, which is his 4-3-3 formation. Just I'd like to see Bernardo Silva and Mahrez play a little bit more. I think Bernardo, I think he won Player of the Year while playing in a central midfield role 2 seasons ago, and he hasn't really been deployed there since. Also, I think Foden could play in the centre a bit more. So he just needs to be a bit more, I don't know, he just needs to pick a better team, really.
Yeah, I mean, like for City, if there's to have had injuries, that's what I've always wondered. I've looked at matchday squads. I'd be like, where is everyone? Like, where is their team? They've got players back now. Foden's been playing well on international break. De Bruyne has been doing okay. Ferran Torres scored a hat trick against Germany. I mean, like I've seen like people say, kind of like it'd be Ferran Torres and Sterling to be like starters, but like for example, for me, Riyad Mahrez is probably the best attacker in my opinion. I rate him so heavily. Like, I think he's such a good player. I don't know what Pep doesn't see in him to be starting him every game, but yeah, I think he should definitely be starting off. Of course, like look, Sterling and Ferran Torres have been playing well, but I think Raheem Sterling, like he's that player that he's always a mainstay in that front three. Like I think he's probably played the most games in a row, not in a row. Sorry, like out of any attacker in that team, because Aguero's obviously injury prone. But yeah, I think Riyad Mahrez would be against that Tottenham defense would be something be fun to watch anyway. Like I think look, we've covered them enough really. I want to move on to the Liverpool Leicester game. That's on Sunday.
Can we not do our predictions before you go into that now?
Oh yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting to do predictions, man, every time. I was like, oh, sorry. Right, who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll just go first. I'm just gonna back Tottenham here just because of Mourinho, to be honest, and like it could go either way. So I'm just gonna take a chance, go 2-1 Tottenham. With like the way Tottenham's attack is looking at the moment, like they're really in form. I think they'll get goals, and Man City, like if Tottenham do sort of keep them out, which obviously it's a big ask, but yeah, I'll just go 2-1 Tottenham, to be honest.
I'm going 2-all. I think it'll be a very good game. I think both defenses will be under the cosh anyway for portion of the game. I think Mourinho doesn't really get a credit for how good his teams have been going forward. Like I've seen games that they've just battered teams going forward. So I think Kane and Son are bound to at least bag a goal with the form there. And what about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I'd also say 2-all. I mean, you basically covered it all there, what I'm thinking. So yeah, 2-all as well.
Yeah. And Luke, what about yourself?
Right. Sorry, I was muted. I'm gonna go with 2-1 to City.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where like I think any prediction either way or even a draw would perfectly fine. I would usually put my money on City in a game like this, but the way the season's going, no, I think it's anyone's game. I mean, moving on to Liverpool Leicester, which I'm a bit nervous about because I don't know who's fit and who's not. It's actually hard to predict this game because nobody knows who's fit, nobody knows who's injured, nobody knows who's going to be able to play. We've been hit with endless injuries this international break. I wanted to ask Connor, like, are we dusted now? Like, surely with Gomez gone for the latest spell he's gone for, Fabinho and Thiago don't look like they're back yet. Like they will be back definitely, hopefully for the game on Sunday. But are you now kind of resigned to the fact that I think it's just let's see what happens this season and hope for the best?
Yeah, I mean, like you can look at it that way, but you can also look at it the fact that like all the teams in the league are dropping points this year. So it's not like, see, I've said this before, I don't think the winner is going to get like 98, 99 points this year. So it's not like City are suddenly going to go steaming ahead. Obviously the whole defensive issue at the moment is like it is worrying. At least a bit of good news is Andy Robertson should be back. It's pretty much guaranteed. And then obviously Fabinho, Thiago should be coming back in, which like we were missing them for a while. And then there are rumors going around that Klopp doesn't actually want to get anyone in January to replace like as a centre back.
I won't believe that.
But then if you look at other rumors, then they're completely different. So there's no point like trying to look at rumors now. You just have to get to the January window as it is. Like you have to do the best we can. Leicester, obviously, like they're a very, very good team. But yeah, I'm excited about the midfield, to be honest. It's pretty much like if Thiago, Wijnaldum and Keita, if that midfield three play, which I hope they do, like Leicester won't be able to live with that midfield.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's different if it's not Thiago and Milner, but
yeah, obviously that's different. But like,
hopefully Thiago's fit.
Jota on the right, I think will be good as well.
Yeah.
Obviously we've seen glimpses of him this season. He's played really, really well. He's probably one of the best players in the front three this season so far.
Yeah.
Certainly the most in form, I think. Firmino, the thing that annoys me about Firmino is he doesn't score for Liverpool. He goes away for Brazil and he just scores every game. Like I know it's against like shit. I know it's against shit teams, but like even still, like he's just playing well for Brazil.
Yeah. Same with Wijnaldum, like he did the same. He scored like 3 goals. I think he scored like 13 in the last 20 games for Holland.
Yeah, he's a joke.
He's not scored for us in ages, but I suppose that's just the role he plays. Like, it's completely different to the Dutch team. I wouldn't mind Klopp, like, with the injuries we have, change it up a little bit, maybe use Wijnaldum further forward because he definitely has an eye for goal for the national team anyway.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, like, the thing that annoys me, we don't know, like, about the injuries because no one, like, the club doesn't tell us anything. Like, doesn't tell the fans anything, doesn't tell the media anything. So a lot of the rumors coming out about like Fabinho might not be fit and stuff like that. I think that's all guesswork. Like, because Thiago was meant to be back. Thiago was pictured in like individual training like a week after the Everton game, and apparently hasn't been trained since. So either he's done something, like he's either made it worse. You know, sometimes like you get an injury and then you play like a couple of days later, and then you aggravate it again, even though you didn't think you had that injury. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think he could have done that, or I actually have no explanation why he isn't training at the moment. But we'll have to wait and see today. Klopp's press conference is they're tomorrow, aren't they? Fridays, I think. It could be today actually. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm still confident we can beat them if we have Thiago and Fabinho fit. If we don't, it's going to be a bit more difficult. But I'd probably still like back us to do something anyway. Charlie, on for the opposition, Leicester. How impressed have you been with them this season?
Yeah, obviously, I think they're top of the league at the moment, so they're obviously doing some. Or are they top? I think they are. As far as I know, they are.
Anyway. They're up there anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, well, obviously they were unlucky to lose Vardy to injury for a couple of games, and that's obviously where they dropped their points. But I think we've mentioned it before. Their signing of Fofana has really helped them. I think. Yeah. He's been a brilliant player. Obviously, he should be pretty good considering they paid around 40 million for him, but he's been quite impressive. I think Under as well seems to have a good relationship with Jamie Vardy. He's already given him a few assists. And I think Utd Tielemans is having a great season, obviously, for Belgium as well. He went away and just scored 2 goals over the international break. He scored a couple of goals this season. I think he got a brace against Leeds. So I think you're saying your midfield should be able to dominate. I'm not so sure with the likes of Tielemans, Mendy, even Maddison could play. So I think I'd be disappointed in Leicester if they didn't at least get some points, considering your team is so weak at the moment and considering how strong Leicester seem to be at the present.
Yeah,
Charlie, I think you're forgetting how much sauce Thiago Wijnaldum has.
Like, yeah, you're not taking that into consideration.
You don't understand, like.
They're not going to win you the game by themselves. They
did last season.
Thiago literally would win anyone a game by himself.
They did last season. We dominated. We absolutely. We put like Maddison, Tielemans. I don't know who was. I think it was Ndidi. We destroyed their midfield. Keita played midfield with Wijnaldum and Henderson. So you're just taking Henderson out for Thiago. So, and Henderson's apparently shit according to you. So. And Thiago's world class. So what you're saying to me is we're going to dominate their midfield and win 4-0. Easy, right, Luke? What was it? Vardy. Well, I don't know what age he is. I mean, this is in relation to the game, but if you were Southgate, would you be kind of scratching your head as to why Vardy has retired from international duty?
To be honest, I wouldn't, because if you look at Southgate's treatment of Calvert-Lewin and Ings, like they're scoring nearly 20 goals in the Prem and they're not getting any game time. So if I was Vardy, I wouldn't really be bothered wasting my time going to English duty to sit on the bench instead of Harry Kane, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I remember I was watching the England game and I was like, where's Vardy? And then I realised that he retired. So I mean, we don't have as much time as we usually have, so I want to move on to predictions. I'm going to go first because I want to. 3-1 Liverpool. That's if Thiago played. Actually, no, I don't care. I'm back in my team. 3-1.
I went for 2-0. I think. Yeah, I 2-0. Like, I think if Thiago's playing, like, definitely 2-0.
I don't understand how good a player Thiago is, Charlie.
And do you know who I'm backing to score a brace? Bobby Firmino.
Yep. Bobby Dazzler.
This isn't really a prediction. It's more of a optimistic shout. I'm going for the Anfield record to end 2-1 Leicester.
Oh my God. I mean, like, it probably isn't the worst game to predict that, considering our injuries. So, I back it. Go on. Okay, that's fair. So what score?
2-1 Leicester.
Right. Luke?
I'm gonna go with 1-1.
Okay. I mean, we're winning, so that's guaranteed anyway. The next game I want to talk about is it's a game actually in the bottom half of the table. I'll reiterate, a bottom half of the table. Two teams in the bottom half of the Premier League table. No, it's not West Brom v Fulham. It's actually Manchester United v West Brom. So a question for you, Charlie, is this is a must-win? It is. Like it's a must-win game, surely, at this point. Is this the perfect game for the likes of Martial to get his first shot on target this season in the Premier League, or the likes of Pogba to play himself back and forth, Van de Beek another chance to get a minute, and is Cavani able to play, or was that just me that he got COVID or something?
As far as I know, he's available, although he got sent off for Uruguay during the week. So
he kicked Richarlison, so yeah, I like Cavani anyway. So to be more serious, like, is this the perfect time for just to kind of gain a little bit of confidence? Like it's basically a free chance to get back into form. Like it's the perfect game to come back after the international break.
Yeah, I think this should be an extremely comfortable win, and if it's not, I think there will be cause for concern. I think Pogba will probably come back into the team for this game, considering they're definitely going to play a low block, and I don't think Fred and McTominay have the ability to constantly break that down. I think Pogba, he played all right for France. I mean, we saw he was at fault for one of their goals, but he did have a hand in two of the goals against Sweden. I think they call them pre-assists, even though they don't really matter. But I suppose he was involved in the build-up. So yeah, with regards to our attack, I know Greenwood and Martial both haven't scored in the Premier League this season. Whether either of them will play remains to be seen. I think Martial is currently injured with a back injury. Greenwood, I'm not sure if he'll play. I wouldn't be surprised if Mata or even James will come in, considering James just scored a screamer for Wales, and that seems to be what Ollie does whenever a player plays a half-decent game. He chucks them into the starting 11. So even whatever attack we feel, we should be able to get the better of West Brom, and if we don't, then questions will have to be asked.
Yeah, I think we all agree that United will probably win this game because West Brom are a championship team. But one of the questions I wanted to ask that happened over the international break, that's probably a bit more interesting to talk about than talk about United thrashing West Brom. Paul Pogba came out. I don't want to say the exact quote because I can't remember the exact quote and I don't have it. But I think it's fair to say it was along the lines of him saying he felt better and like refreshed when he came back into the French squad. This is not the first time he said something like that during the international break. That like he's saying he's not happy United. This for Luke. Are you just kind of like got one saying, yeah, go on to Real Madrid, like no one actually wants you here, go to Juventus, like saying stuff in the media, like about a club like Manchester United, like that is not, it's not what you want obviously, but like that's not respectful for a club that employs you, I think.
Yeah, it just baffles me that every time France meet up, it seems to be Paul Pogba that's doing the interview, just so it's almost like he's asking for it just so he can get a word in about United. Like, I don't see Mbappe, Griezmann, Kante, I don't see them doing an interview every time they go on international duty, but every time Pogba goes, you seem to get another quote about United. It's really strange, to be honest. Now, if he continues to be left out of the team, he'll probably leave. But I've seen Romano say that we want to offer him a new deal. Well, he's going to have to improve his performances if he wants a new highly paid contract, because if he keeps performing like this, there's no way he deserves it. And he'll only be moving to a club like Real Madrid or Juventus off merit, not by performances. He'll be moving because his name is Paul Pogba, really.
And the thing that I don't understand is like he goes into the international break, right? He goes, meets up with the French squad, says stuff in the media, comes back and drops stinker after stinker. I'm like, mate, you're not even performing well. Like, you don't deserve to be in the starting 11. So why you leave? Honestly, if you left tomorrow, United would not miss you. I'm telling you, the way he's been performing. Like, he might. Oh well, he performed at the World Cup. Oh well, he has his talent. Like, no, this guy needs the best players around him to perform the best. And I said this, by the way, when we were all in third year when he signed. I was like, this guy's a bum. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know that I was right. Connor, I mean, we can move on. We can talk about West Brom. Any chance?
Nah, I think I said this about the Newcastle game as well, where United beat them. Like, it was comfortable in the end, even though it was a shocking United performance. Now West Brom are just they're probably remember when Derby got 11 points or something. That's the sort of standard that West Brom are at.
Yeah.
I can't see them getting any. The only thing I would say is it's at Old Trafford, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think teams will go to there and kind of relish the chance to play in Old Trafford. But even with that, I think United will win 3-0, 3-1, something like that.
So yeah, okay. So that's your prediction. Saying all that, man, my prediction would be 1-1. Charlie? No, I'm joking. I think 3-0 United.
Yeah, I think 3-0 as well, hopefully.
It has to be 3-0 though. West Brom are wank, man.
I'm going to go with 2-0 actually.
Okay. I mean, a win's a win for you down there.
Who are we going? Dan James to get a double, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus, don't talk about him. Right, so we don't have much time left, so I want to race through the last two games we're going to talk about. Leeds, Arsenal. I mean, we can all say a little bit on them. This is a very interesting game. Two tacticians going head to head. Arsenal got, I don't know what the right word. I don't want to not give the credit it deserves. They got annihilated against Aston Villa, who finished 17th last season, by the way, and they got annihilated. So that's Arsenal for you. But I think if they lose this game now, Arsenal, it seems to be one step forward, two steps back for them. Connor, I don't know what you think about this game and how it's going to go, but do you think Leeds can turn Arsenal over, or do you think Arsenal just have that quality, especially with Leeds' leaky defence?
Yeah, I think Leeds are Leeds can beat anyone. We saw them against Man City. They deserve to win that game. Yep. And Bielsa seems to love the challenges against the best in the league. And Arsenal, they're not one of the best teams in the league at all anymore. They're mid-table at best, as Charlie would describe it. And although Arsenal, big club and all, they seem to play well in the Emirates, but away from home, they're shambolic.
I mean, that's because it's Arsenal and they're spineless. But no, they have Nicolas Pepe, who is world class. So I think they'll win this game purely because they have Nicolas Pepe, who is one of the best wingers in the league. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but they're going to start Willian instead.
Willian's world class. I mean, if you look at
their whole team is.
Yeah, if you look at someone like I don't know, Kieran Tierney. If I had to, I'm actually struggling to pick a better left back in history than him. I mean, that's what Arsenal fans go on about. I'm not. Charlie, you and Luke, you're on Twitter. Arsenal fans go on as if he's the next Messiah, even though he just hoops it up the pitch every time he gets the ball. But no, seriously, Charlie, Luke, I want to just let you for Charlie first. What's your thoughts on this game coming up? How do you think it's going to play out?
I think I'd actually fancy Leeds in this game. I think they're a lot more hungry than Arsenal. They actually believe in themselves a lot more, and they can actually create chances, unlike Arsenal, who just seem to stick with the same system over and over. It doesn't really work, considering they can't get Aubameyang into the game. Willian looks the shadow of the player he was. Lacazette, he was unreal at Lyon. Now he's just shit, if we're being honest. So, yeah, and Arsenal fans will make all the excuses. Oh, Pepe should play, Nelson should play. I'm not sure if they're the answer either. Like,
Nelson should play. Sorry, Nelson should play. Pepe should be sold back to France because he's shit.
I think the problem is their midfield can't really link
Yeah.
to the attack because
Yeah.
they're all so defensively minded. Like Xhaka, Elneny, Party, even Ceballos. I mean, he's not great. They play it into the attack, but they have no interest in going again, getting themselves in the box, maybe getting themselves a goal. And that's what you need out of your midfield. You can't just rely on your attack the entire time. You need goals from all areas of the pitch.
Yeah, I think Arsenal. I think this brings us back to the old debate of how he's not in the squad. He'd be perfect to link the attack, and obviously they're linked with. I'm not going to try to say his name, but you know who it is. Dominic. Does anyone know how to say his name? The Hungarian guy from Leipzig. Shabalala.
Like Shabalala or something.
Yeah, they're linked with him. I rate him so high. I think he's class. Not because I bought him on career mode in FIFA, not because he's actually a very good footballer. Luke, just finish up on Leeds and Arsenal. I mean, are you the same? Do you think Leeds? Are you back in Leeds, or do you think Arsenal will finally bounce back and get the 3 points?
It depends what Leeds show up, really. I mean, this is the team that got hammered by Crystal Palace before the international break. If they play anything like they did against Liverpool or City, I think they'll beat Arsenal. I think Arsenal will struggle against Leeds' high pressure. They're not people like Holding, like they're not great on the ball coming out from the back. So I think if Leeds put in a good performance, I think they can beat Arsenal.
Yeah, I suppose we can move on to predictions. I was saying it depends what Leeds shows up. So Leeds are being at home. I don't know to make a difference. I was just thinking I'll probably just go with like 2-2 or something again. Like I can see it being a score draw, to be honest with you. What about you, Connor?
I've gone with 2-1 to Leeds. I just think I think Leeds will be more hungry, as I think Luke or Charlie were saying earlier. Arsenal that they are spineless at the moment. They don't look like they want to be on the pitch at all.
Yeah.
And Bielsa will he'll get the players fired up for this because he knows it's a game he can win.
Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1 Leeds as well. I'd say Aubameyang will score, but with the form Bamford is in, I'd expect him to get on the score sheet. I think Helder Costa might score as well.
Luke?
I was also going to go 2-1 Leeds.
Yeah, I think you can back any side again. It's on the Tottenham City game. I'm looking forward to see this game. I can't wait to see the meltdown from Arsenal fans when they inevitably lose on Twitter. So, I mean, we don't have much time, but we'll do a quick prediction each for Chelsea Newcastle. Chelsea away at Newcastle. Another easy game for Chelsea. Their fans think they're in the title. I'm going to go with 2-1 Chelsea. They're probably just going to win, aren't they? What about you, Luke?
3-0 Chelsea.
Yeah. Charlie?
I'm actually going to go with 2-2. I'd say Chelsea will slip up and put their fans back in their play, hopefully.
Rightly so. And Connor?
I've gone 3-1 to Chelsea. I think Newcastle are just it depends which Newcastle show up, but they can be shy.
Yeah. Look, to end on that, if you're starting Jeff Hendrick, you're a shit football team. So that's it. Thanks for everyone who's watched. Thanks if you've gotten this far. I'd like to say thanks to the lads for coming. If you can subscribe, and then share with your mates and stuff, that'd be fantastic. We'll see you for the review after the weekend. And thanks. See you.